I think we're live.
I think so.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome everybody to Supercharged Sunday with me, Emily Mchugh, and my extra special guest, Dr. Abby Matzke. Coming all the way from Minnesota, right, Abby?
All the way from up here where it's cold. So, yeah, we couldn't get a whole lot farther apart state-wise, could we?
No, so I'm here in Florida. Abby's up in Minnesota. What's it like in Minnesota today?
Oh, it's really nice, actually, because we're above freezing. So that's a good day when you're above freezing.
That is so funny. People
Right?
for Abby, let me tell you, she's one of my favorite superchargers because number one, she's so funny. Her humor is just on. It just comes in at an unexpected moment. You get a laugh, and she has a lot of deep wisdom on top of it to share with us. So I'm so excited that she's able to come on and share some insight. So let me tell you who Abby is. She has her PhD in nutrition. Is that correct, Abby?
Natural medicine.
Natural medicine. Okay, so it's more all encompassing. And she has taken that expertise and is using it in applying it to being a transformational emotional healer. People, a lot of us have a lot of emotional trauma, and Abby specializes in helping people break through their blocks, things that are holding them back either in their life and in their business. And she's also a business strategist and coach. So she has various programs and she'll be sharing them with us today, but she's also a member of our Supercharged Family Supercharged Facebook group, and she's the ultimate supercharger. And I just am so excited that she's going to share some insights. So let me tell you how this whole thing came about. Abby, I want to share with them that Facebook post that triggered this whole discussion.
Sure.
And but let me do a couple things. I'm trying to multitask. I want to share this into our group. So let me try to do that right this second so that people can join in. So I'm sharing it in there. All right. Okay, so I've just shared it. So we're live in there, and we're also going to be on the page as well.
Awesome.
Okay, that's not working, but we're in the group. Okay. So welcome everybody again from wherever you're watching. Please like, comment, any questions you have for us, do share it so we can respond to it. So now let me go and tell you what I'm saying about the post that I put up in the Supercharge group on November 3rd, to be precise. I asked the question, Supercharge tip of the week: be proactive, not reactive. Which one do you tend to be? And so Abby wrote, she says, proactive. Of course, she would write that. I would expect nothing else. She says, I catch myself being reactive and I consciously redirect. So then I asked her, okay, now what does that mean? What does it mean can you give me an example of how you consciously redirect? And so she went on to share that, what happened to the thing? Toward the actual goal. I have it kind of half cut off, but you know what? You're gonna tell us more right now. That's the whole point of our discussion. But the whole idea is that you can be proactive about your feelings. You don't just let them happen and just succumb to them. And so that is where we as human beings struggle a lot, that we don't think we have control over it. We just kind of give in to how we feel. So Abby's going to share with us how you can take control, how you can redirect those emotions to something more productive. So Abby, how do we start that process?
Oh gosh. So I've got a lot of different ways to do it depending on like the person and the situation, but I've got some generalized ways that I can share some of that with you. But I mean, first off, like you said, the problem's big. Everybody's got it. We all have, I mean, we're as 2-year-olds, we're all tantruming. But and this sounds horribly harsh, but it seems like some people never grow up. We just throw our tantrums in new ways. We really I don't care what your age is. We have our tantrum style. It's just not all out on the floor kicking and screaming, right? Or, even on a lesser level, when you wake up in the morning, you're like waiting for inspiration to hit you instead of trying to go do the thing. You're like, maybe my cup of coffee will give this to me. And it doesn't. I mean, it'll give you some energy inside because it's stressing your adrenals out, but it's not going to be your answer. That's not what's going to help you achieve the bigger things or even have a good day if you're just waiting for your attitude to change. So I think the first step for people is to recognize when they're not in the energy that they need to be in. And we do have control over that. We have far more control over it than people want to realize. So we have to recognize that we can shift our energy. The emotional energy, the energy that we're outputting and dealing with other people, how we're speaking, what our posture is like and all that. So anyway, back to that post. I think what I responded with there was if you take a moment when you know you're in a funk or a mood or whatever, if you're angry, somebody ticked you off or you saw a post you got your undies in a bunch about or whatever it was, you're going to feel it inside, like behind your sternum, down toward your stomach. Your organs are very emotional. All of them are. But it's that internal core energy that's going to start giving the directions for everything else. And that's what people sense about you too. If you're just angry and frustrated about things all the time, you end up getting that reputation. People come up to you and their sensation is, because we all have that sense about somebody, that sense that somebody is a certain way it's like all around you. So if you can change that internal energy, so you simply think down into there, name it the best you can. Like, gosh, I'm feeling fill in the blank, frustrated, sad, depressed, down, whatever, confused, literally. Can be like, if you're just, I'm kind of lost today. Like, I don't know which direction to go or whatever it is, or whatever emotion you had in mind when are you proactive or reactive? That's what you want to name the best you can. And then you can control it. Be like, well, is this what I want to be doing? Is this how I'm going to accomplish what I need to accomplish? Is this, every minute you spend angry is one that you can't get back. You can't relive that. So, and I remember hearing that like 25 years ago, so I'm not taking credit for that one. But it's every minute that you spend in a funk is a minute of your life you're not going to reclaim. We've only got a certain amount of time here, not to put pressure on people. But if you spend years bummed out, feeling like a victim, feeling like you can't handle it, it's too much, it's overwhelming, you have control over that to a large degree. And I can qualify that, but I think that's what you're talking about with the post.
Yes. So Abby, here's the thing now. So if we are subject to certain kind of emotion, like I feel sad, I feel angry, and there's something that maybe triggers or provokes that feeling, it's not that we're dismissing the feeling or dismissing the fact that you might feel sad or hurt or whatever the emotions that we are designed to feel. But right. The whole idea is what we do with them, not so much that we have them. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, you don't want your emotions to be driving you unless it's a happy, good emotion. You have control over it, not them over you, is really how it is.
So how do we start practicing? What would be one of the fundamental techniques to start practicing taking control of your emotions? And really a process that you can put in place that when you start to go down a certain path to take control?
Well, one of the things that first popped to my mind that I would have some of my clients do is if they're finding themselves, first you have to identify it. Like you have to know when this is happening or you can't deal with it. So as soon as you have an idea of like, oh, wow, I'm not being productive enough or I'm not taking the steps that need to be taken, you identify that action. But then I would, and I do have like a list. I keep it in my brain. But if you need to like post it up, I have a cabinet next to me. Like if you need to post it on a wall near your computer or on your dashboard of your car or by your bedstand where it's the emotions that you'd rather be living in all the time. Like what do you really want your life to be like? You want to be joyful, peaceful, content, live in wonder, have an awe in your life. One of the words that I think we forget to totally experience is one called elation. Like when's the last time you felt elated? When's the last time you stood in awe of something and just went, wow, this is fantastic? I mean, we don't do that. So if those are, put together your mini list of words of how you would rather feel and operate. And as soon as you're like, oh, I feel like I'm in a funk. I feel like I'm not getting enough done. I feel like I'm not focused. Go to your list. What is it that we need to do? And have some go-tos that are your favorites, and you can morph that list as often as you want. to make it fit what you need.
So what what's on your list?
On my list, it changes a lot. I like to be happy. I don't like to waste time unhappy. I don't like to be angry. So there was a time, let's go back to like when my kids were little, and life was it was a mess. It's a mess because everybody needs everything and you can't take care of yourself as well. And like, you don't have time to even think. You stay up. I know a lot of moms, we stay up late at night to get our own brain back for a couple of hours, right? So like just to have some time for ourselves. So then we're exhausted and all these negative emotions are happening. And I know I've worked with a number of moms, even before they're in business, where they're like, I yell and I don't know why I'm yelling. I know that they're not as wrong as I'm trying to make it sound. Like they know they're wrong, but they're on a roll and they don't stop it. Some of that can be physical things inside, like chemicals going into their brain from things happening in their body that shouldn't be. But a lot of it is just knowing, okay, wait a second. I need to stop being angry. Like I can be frustrated for that moment. And then I don't want to spend all day there. Like you could spend 8 hours being ticked off about something that happened at 7 a.m. What a waste of a day. And this could go for anything, whether it's, somebody said something rude, somebody gave you a dirty look, somebody like whatever it is, or something wasn't said right. It wasn't a happy conversation for some reason. And you walk away, you can either stay ticked off and unhappy all day, all night for days and hold that grudge. But the only one you're really hurting is you. You're not going to be finding the solutions to those problems. You're just going to be sitting in that mud puddle, not getting out. So my list, I like happy. I like joy. I like freedom. It's a pretty short list, I guess, if I were to just off the top of my head, but I'll change that when I want. I like to really enjoy my family and enjoy what I'm doing. If I'm not enjoying it, then there's other things that need to change too. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So the thing about it is when you get out your list, then you proactively engage in activities or ideas that will allow that list to materialize. So if you put on there happy, you're going to engage in something that's going to make you happy so that you will, right?
You don't even have to, honestly, you don't have to do the thing that makes you happy because sometimes we don't have that chance. Like if you're stuck having to, sitting at a desk or whatever all day and you need to shift your attitude, then you go back to that core feeling. What is that? Is that disgust that that I'm stuck here or whatever it is, or disgust that I don't like these tasks or whatever the name of it is that you can give it. Okay. But what I really want to do is remember what it's like to feel happy, to feel joy, to feel at ease. What does that actually feel like? And think about basically force your energy to shift gently. It's just a mind thing. Your brain is electrical and your body's electrical. By thinking it, you're sending that vibration down and your body will start shifting. I have ways to actually prove that with computer equipment, but since that's pretty tough here on a little short thing, you just by thinking and trying to feel it here behind your sternum, like where the core of you is, growing that to where it's, you can kind of visualize it expanding out and being you. That's, like where you're in your own little bubble of I'm happy. And nobody can really take that. If someone else made a bad decision, that's them. That's not me. Stop taking everything personally. So some of it's an internal lecture also.
This is really fascinating because what it says is that you can sit there and not get up, not go anywhere. You could be in the middle of traffic. You could be anywhere you could possibly be. But this is, as you said, an internal conversation, an internal lecture to yourself, self-talk in your head. And just by putting your mind energy in a certain place, it shifts your body energy. And that powerful recognition that we have that power, we have that control over ourselves that no one can take away from us because it's inside. And that is extremely powerful. I think that's a really important tip to share with us because it lets us not be victims of a circumstance. And then when you're able to collect yourself in that way, then you make some better decisions. So that's really interesting, Abby. How do you work with your clients? Like when people come to you, what are some of the things they're coming to you with? What makes them decide to come to you, and how do you work with them?
Sure. Well, I'm focusing right now on helping business owners who are hesitating to get to their next goal for whatever reason. Like they've tried the things and the things aren't working for whatever reason. So what's happened throughout people's lives is everything that you go through is remembered by your body, whether it's conscious or not. Your body remembers it, and you will be defaulting to situations, basically responses to situations that maybe worked for you 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but they're not working for you now. Somebody was judgmental or critical. So why would you go say something that might get a response you don't want to deal with? The things like that we can, when they come to me, we quickly identify what the top emotions are and what caused them, if we need to know it, and then we get rid of it. I teach them to move that energy really quickly within their own body. The outcomes that people are getting are knowing themselves a whole lot better, like knowing why they're doing what they're doing, why they haven't been doing what they should be doing, more so where they want to be, and not just being tossed about by the waves of life and thinking, well, I'm expected to do XYZ, so I'm stuck doing that. You're not really. Like I've worked with a number of people who are in transition too, from they want to quit a certain thing that they're doing, career, job, and they want to transition into something else. So I help them through that process of letting go. It's not about these other people who wanted had expectations of you, and you can burn up your whole life trying to fulfill somebody else's expectations. So getting those emotions out of the way that will help them make the decisions that need to be made and take the action.
Right. Okay, so it's a decision-making process. And most of the times in our lives, we get stuck because we can't decide, or we can't choose, or we choose to stay stuck. So that's also part of being proactive. I know yesterday at my church, we had a discussion on forgiving what you can't forget. And I did a little poll to see how they handled the situation. And most people tended to prefer to keep their grudge. Two things that came out of that. One, they would not confront the person or address what was the concern. And two, they would keep the grudge. So do you find with people that you work with, why do we have difficulty confronting people or addressing a situation? And two, why do we choose to hang on to grudges?
I think most of it comes down to pride. We don't want to be humbled to the point where we need to address these things, or why should we? So-and-so might not be sorry after all, or whatever, like we want to not be at fault. We don't want to take the responsibility, or face some of these things because it's scary. What if you approach somebody and they just lash back, and now you've created a whole second situation? So there's going to be fears, there's going to be pride, there's going to be this lack of humility, it's easier to hold that grudge at some point because that unknown outcome is scary. But that's not really legitimate. If you really think through, like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen if you went and apologized for something that you didn't even do, if that's the case? I mean, it might be like, hey, I'm sorry that I didn't understand how you meant this, or I'm sorry, or if you are at fault, just own it and deal with it. Because everybody is the same. I think we need to, across the board, everybody needs to realize it doesn't matter who somebody is or how high up the ranking they seem to be. We're all on the level. Everybody's got the same issues. Everybody's got the same emotions, the same burdens, in a way, we've all got junk, and we're all like, when you realize everybody's human, some of us, if you were to go apologize to someone and try to clear something up, instead of holding a grudge, if that person can't let it go, you have to learn how and make it shift in yourself, because they can carry that around. That doesn't mean you're obligated to carry it around at all. It might take a little while to process through that and to really get it set in. Like, I'm sorry that person has this stuff, but at some point you can't fix it for them. They have their own free will and they have to make those choices. So I do work with people on that too. If they're holding themselves back in business or life, or they're healing because of imposed feelings, like, oh, so-and-so's making me feel like this, like, yes and no. Like, they might be wanting you to feel that way, or, lashing out because of their own injuries, but you don't have to be a part of that manipulation either.
And one of the challenges a lot of people also feel is that when they can't forgive themselves. Like, for example, it's one thing when you have a grudge against someone else, but you could have a grudge against your own self or have other issues internally that are holding you back. And that seems to be the hardest one. What do you say to someone like that who can't forgive themselves for whatever decision they may have made in the past, or they have that guilt trip that they play on themselves?
Right. Well, a lot of it is that they've actually internalized it to the point where their body is doing more of the controlling than their mind. So it's this default reaction that, oh my gosh, I'm going to, whatever it is, get myself in a situation where I'm going to screw up again. Or, there's 1,000 different ways that could play out as far as what is stopping, like what are they not forgiving themselves for? Because everybody is individual in that way. So it would be probably a process of getting rid of a pile of things that need to go so that their body stops defaulting and their brain synapses stop defaulting to the same pathways all the time. So if it's a constant, well, I'm not worthy because I screwed up when I was 18 or whatever. Is that really how you want to be defining yourself? I mean, you can lecture yourself out of this to some degree. I just happen to make it a lot faster in my programs. But if you've got this pattern of, well, I wasn't good enough back then, so why would I be good enough now? Guys, every day is a new day. You get to rewrite this book from here on out. If you were, and sometimes I have some of my clients actually think about their life like a book. Which chapter are you on? And are you going to allow yourself to change plot midstream? Go ahead and rewrite it at this point on. Like, okay, so that happened. It's over. Move on. You are valuable. You're inherently valuable because you're a human being. Exactly. It's just a fact. So we have to get that into our heads too. Like, you are amazing. You've got talents nobody else has. So why would you hold back because of something that happened ages ago? It's ancient history.
So you have to rewrite the neural pathways have to be rewired, reprogrammed, redirected. Pretty much, because a lot of people feel they're not worthy. They feel they're not deserving. There's all these things, all these burdensome thoughts that really drain the energies and keep people in a very specific, restricted place. And so to be able to help them break through and break free and become unblocked is a very powerful thing to do. So Abby, how did you get into the field that you're in? How did you become a transformational emotional healer and business strategist coach?
So I'll delete some of it because it could get pretty long. Basically, I went into traditional naturopathy and learned to work with body electricity. Because it's such a thing, your cells communicate electrically, your brain communicates electrically, neurotransmitters are electric, more or less. It's like everything is electrically based to some degree. I found in my workings that via computer system that would help me test through the electrical circuitry of the body, there's a point that will tell you if you're blocking your healing emotionally. And then I found what would correct that, like within seconds. So using that and experimenting through that, I built another program out and my own protocol essentially for identifying what the emotions are. Like when I say think it down and try to name it, I can name it for you really fast. And it's just, I get such a kick out of it because I'm rarely wrong or,
okay.
It's fantastic. So the subconscious, you're resonating with these things. Think back to electricity. Everything's got a wavelength. So if you've got anger you're harboring, you're going to be vibrating with that. You're putting that out. And whenever you get into certain situations, that anger is going to be kind of a default. Because it's like, okay, anger worked to protect me years ago, so anger should protect me now, or whatever the emotion is. So I used to use this to break through people's blocks to their own healing process, because you might see, like, I don't know how much of this you can see, but I've got a bunch of remedies and things. I still do some of this work. When they're on a detoxing, healing, strengthening process and they get stuck, I found that it's the emotions that are generally the sticking point. There's they're not worthy of healing. They're not worthy of forgiving themselves. They're not worthy. Sometimes it's not worthy. Sometimes it's a fear. Well, if you've had, certain ailments for 20 years and you're used to that, well, what if I get better. And it sounds a little convoluted, but what if they don't have these things? Now, what does life look like? And so it's a subconscious thing, but they're resonating with it. So that's how I developed the program, and then realized that this applies really well to those people going up from, whatever their goals are to the next stage. So 6-figure, multi-6, 7-figure, getting them through those things. And oftentimes, just to tie back in something you were saying a little bit ago about, not being able to forgive yourself or whoever it is, sometimes those instances are some of the most powerful things that you have that are going to attract the people that you need for that next level of success, to help them and to feed your own soul. The weak points can be turned into shining moments. Like, look at, these were the things that I went through, and look at how things have changed. And because there's 100,000 other people that were in that position too, that understand your message. So you can take some of that once you deal with it and turn it into something really powerful for you and your clients. So that's how I got into the business side of it. It's just absolutely fascinating to me to watch clients blossom that way when they get their emotions out of the way.
Now, when you work with them like that, how does it stay that way permanently, or do you ever find people regressing? How do they maintain that breakthrough?
Maintaining is a lot easier when you've gotten all that junk out of the way, or as much of it as possible. Sometimes there's going to be new things that pop up over time. Generally, my people feel shifts right away, like the first session on out. And then we maintain that I usually do 3 to 6 month packages, getting them through as much as we can to that next level. And then if they get stuck again, they'll come back. But it sticks. Like, once you release emotions, once you get that programming shifted and get the cells to understand and the brain to understand that this isn't the rut it should be in, that stays. That doesn't change. But if you've managed to pile up a pattern of this, like you've got 18 different reasons that anger is the default, or frustration is the default, or I quit is the default, then we're going to have to pull more out. But it sticks. It really does shift things, and it makes people so much more self-aware and self-assured that they can identify when this is happening a whole lot quicker and start shifting it themselves. So they're not dependent on me. I like my people to be independent. I want them to learn to do this and be the people they were meant to be, the souls that they were meant to be, without all the burdens that life tends to kick us with.
Excellent. And tell us about the program. You have an upcoming program, Abby, that you're doing. Is it a 4-week program that you're offering?
I did. That was 2 days ago. I was closing the doors on it. I could probably sneak somebody in if they really needed it, but that was basically a mini version of my bigger package. We could work on getting the blocks out of their way that help them be visible, because you're not going to be able to bring people in to help them if you're not out there being seen. At some point, you have to have some type of billboard up, like, hey guys, this way, I can help you over here. If you don't have that, then you're like a little shop out in the boonies. Nobody's going to know you're there. It's going to be an accident if they find you. So to get you visible, to get people seeing what you're doing, to get your message more honed in so that you have confidence that what you're saying is the right thing, we're going to do a couple of emotion breakthrough sessions, but then do a back-end course and a couple of group coaching sessions to get people writing their message the way it needs to be written, getting it where it needs to be put, and getting their social media area cleaned up the way it should be to bring their people in so that they can help them. You're not going to help anybody if they don't know you're there.
And that's very much tied to what we're talking about, the whole worthiness and feeling deserving. You don't put yourself out there if you don't think you're worthy or deserving of being out there. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling process. You wonder why your business can't grow or why you can't do this, because you have programmed it to become that way.
Right.
And so it's great that you're helping people shift that mindset. So it's definitely, everything is connected.
It is.
It's pretty much what we're seeing. Everything's connected and linked one to the other. So Abby, what type of plans do you have for the new year in terms of 2021, working with people, things that you're working on, or things that you want people to think about as they go into the new year?
Everybody needs to leave 2020 behind. I have seen this year unprecedented in all the years I've been working with people emotionally and on health programs too. The strongest, most capable, fearless people have gotten beat to a pulp this year. They've gotten beat to a pulp. And there are traumas that are they're not your typical traumas. I mean, I think anybody who's lived through this year gets it. The fears that were imposed on us, the level of lying from whatever angle has been insane. Like, it's gotten to where you don't know who to trust. You pretty much stay away from everybody. You're hiding. It's just wild. Then there's seriously a huge anger factor for people and resentments building up and bitternesses. So if we haul that into 2021, we're not doing anybody any favors. So it's got to go. So people need to keep that in mind. If they find themselves stuck back in 2020, we need to break through that. We all got to shed the junk from this year. There were beautiful blessings that were built into this, and we need to see what those were and really leverage that. But stop hauling the burdens along, because that's not, we have to allow people to grow and learn. And we've seen the entire world grow and learn in a really painful way, really fast. And if that was traumatizing to somebody, if they find themselves like, oh, well, it's more of like, I wouldn't even put words to it. It's just like this year, that feeling. Don't haul that into the next year. And that's like, my goal is like, let's just move on. Let's keep going and see, like, whatever the new things are that we have to deal with, we'll deal with better if we're not acting like we're still back in March or whatever the month was that was hardest on us.
Well, with following up on that point, it's that I like to think of focusing on the blessings of 2020. We know it's been a very difficult year on every level we can imagine, and I think we're all well acquainted with the difficulties. So I don't even need to highlight that because it's so apparent. But the blessings may not be as apparent to many people. And I know personally there have been tremendous blessings from this year. And one of the biggest ones is just what you're saying, the shift in how you think about things. The new opportunities that there are to explore, the new people that I've met that I would have never have met because of all these new technologies. Like today we're doing StreamYard for the first time. Hey, never heard of it, a while back. It's all new, Zoom, everything, all these new platforms, connecting, Abby connecting with you. Well, we've known each other since last year, I think, with our other Facebook groups, but connecting with people that you'd have never met in person, but you've become friends with online just through this medium. So we're not restricted by the fact that we're not physically next to each other. We can still go ahead and achieve things and achieve some amazing things too, with an even broader audience. So having that more expansive thinking and that expansive outlook, I think, is a big blessing from this year. That
absolutely
can,
I agree.
launch us forth into 2020. So I know our time is coming quickly to an end here, but it's so exciting to have you on, Abby, and have you share these insights. Let me just peek at Facebook just see if you have any questions or anything. I don't want to have double talking on the screen. Right. But if anyone has questions, please put them in, or if you don't have them now, you can come back if you're watching it on the replay. Put them in here, any questions you have for Abby. But I just think it's excellent. Abby, anything else you'd like to share with us in terms of something that we can do today, like right now, to make a shift in our lives, like today?
If everybody could take a few minutes, and I know like affirmations got trashed back in the 90s. We got teased so bad. But if you can find a phrase that just cheers you up, something that's like really speaks to you deep down, and you don't have to share it with anybody or even tell them that you're doing affirmations. Because I always think back to, I forget what his name was, but he made a big joke out of affirmations. The idea being, if you've got something positive that you can go to, if you can write that down, or like get your little list of descriptive emotions that you would rather be feeling, that energy that you would rather be living in, get that written down somewhere so that when, like, you can run across it when you open your favorite book or something, or stick it on the dashboard of your car. But a good solid affirmation that helps shift you into that positive forward, like, I'm thinking about myself and not dwelling on these things over here that shouldn't be sitting in that mud puddle. Something that gets you out of the mud puddle. Do that. Start with that. And just get yourself moving.
Do you have such an affirmation that you could share with us that you use for yourself?
I haven't really needed them lately.
Okay.
When I run across them, I'm like, oh, that's excellent. I really love that. And I'll help build
Cool.
them for my clients regularly, but I guess I haven't really taken one on for myself lately.
So what would be an example? Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot one more time. I want you to give an affirmation that I can use myself to
Okay.
supercharge along. What would be such an affirmation?
Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to cheat and pull one that I had talked about in my group then. And it's my business allows me to have a life I love. If you don't have a business that's allowing you to have the life you love, you've got some work to do. And if it does, then really just wallow in that happy spot. Like you've got it made. How many people are in jobs that they absolutely hate?
Mhm.
So my business allows me to have a life I love. I actually still have it on a post-it over here. So thanks for
My
letting me cheat.
business allows me to have a life I love.
Yes.
Amen. And if that's not true, make it true.
Yes.
And if it is
Yes.
true, celebrate.
Absolutely. And then you've got so much room to run free. Like if you love your business, go with it because you're serving people that need it and you're doing things that you were meant to be doing. It's just like all the alignment falls right in. So think
Yeah.
through that one.
That's wonderful. Well, Abby, you've given us so much to ponder, think upon, reflect, and do, not just sit and say, oh, that was nice, but something we can tangibly go and do, shift that energy, shift the mind pattern, make a decision to feel a certain way and act accordingly, and to make those proactive decisions so we're not victims of life and victims of circumstances, but champions of our own futures and present. So I really,
Absolutely.
yes, I want to thank you, and everybody join me in thanking Abby with big rounds of applause here from around the world
Oh, thanks.
as we supercharge along and making this a wonderful supercharged Sunday. So excited to have you come on, and yeah, everybody else watching, thank you so much. And if you have questions, as I said, just drop them in the comments and we can keep the conversation going. So I guess until next time, stay supercharged. And I just want to tell people I'm coming on every day live on Facebook. I've made the commitment to have my daily charge, speaking of being visible. And it's just about if you have something to share. I think we also should transition our thoughts to like, okay, if you have something of value that can help someone's day, help their lives, then go give it to them, go share it. And conversely, you will receive what they're putting out as well. And also inviting people to save the date for December 15th. It's coming up. And I'm going to have my very first group mastermind session. So anyone who wants a framework for their 2021 business-wise and some of the systems and structures and strategies to have your business function, then that's the mastermind I'll be having on the 15th. And more information will be forthcoming. So Abby, where can people follow you, find you? You have your Facebook group, your Fearless Female Entrepreneur Facebook. Tell us or you want to put in the comments where they can find you.
Yep.
Or
I can drop it in the comments. They can go through my personal page and kind of find me that way or message me straight if they'd like to. But Fearless Soulpreneurs is the group that I've got. And we're doing all sorts of, I think it's exciting stuff in there, like trying to get beyond the systems and strategies, which is necessary. But there comes that point where you're stuck. So that's where we want to get people unstuck. So Fearless Soulpreneurs would be an awesome place for them to come find me, or you can message me direct. So that'd be fantastic. Thanks, Emily, for having me, though. I wanted to make sure I thank you for this. You're like one of my favorite online people. So
we have this mutual admiration society because I just love Abby. Abby, she makes me laugh. I always say that if we were like in college together, you would have been my friend in college, okay?
We would have had a lot of fun.
Because I had friends similar to you in college, and I'm like, she would have been one of them. But no,
that's the
Abby,
best crowd.
Really, really great. You're a wonderful person, and keep up your great work. And we'll keep talking online and onward, okay?
Sounds fantastic. Ditto all that to you. We'll catch you soon.
Yes, okay. So everybody, thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend and stay supercharged. Okay, thanks, Abby. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.